persuading and praising both.
Dr. Rini had come to your college at least 5, 6 times, given a lot of lectures in Sairam.
Oh, nice to hear, sir. But I am associated with Sairam from December 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Akshay, we can start
Recording in progress.
Yes, thank you.
Shreyas, for a kind information, the YouTube live is on now.
Sure, sir.
Yeah.
Sure. You have shared with all the participants.
Yeah, you can share with the public.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Akshay, please start. Thank you.
Greetings to one and all. I am Akshay Gato, Project Manager at Project Gotham. I would like to welcome everyone today at AI and STEM Conference, exploring the intersection of artificial intelligence and STEM education, which is organized by Project Gotham, Corridor Insights Africa, and Redefine Canada, in partnership with 3Q Sunatra, IWTRF, Girl Pani, Innerville Club of Chennai, Usi Youth Movement, Impact Tree, and V Access Learning. Herein, I would like to take this opportunity to brief the agenda for today's conference. AI and STEM conference, exploring the intersection of artificial intelligence and STEM education. The conference will be commenced by opening remarks, followed by address by a chief guest. Later, we also have a special address and keynote presentation by a chief guest on the topic of transformation part of AI and STEM education. Here, after this, we'll be stopping for a quick break. Then will be followed by panel discussion. Later, we'll have a valedictory by our chief guest and special guest, which will be proceeded by an open forum and the closing remarks. Finally, we'll be concluding it with a vote of thanks. Friends, today we aspire to bring together educators, researchers, professionals, and policymakers to explore the dynamic relationship between the AI and STEM. We aim to foster discussion, share best practices, and inspire innovative approaches to interacting AI concept in STEM curricula. Now, I would like to welcome Mr. P.P. Shreyas, founder and managing trustee of Project Gotham, one of our conference conveyors, to give the opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Akshay. Warm greetings to everyone and good evening to everyone present over here. Firstly, I'd like to introduce you all to the AI and STEM conference, exploring the intersection of artificial and STEM education, organized by Project Boden, Corridor Insights, Africa Future Work Summit 2023, and Redefine Canada. And we have our esteemed partners on board with us, 3Q Sutantra, IWTRF, Girl Bani, Innerville Club of Chennai Sunshine. We have Goosey Youth Movement from Africa. We have Impact Tree and We Access Learning. Warm greetings to everyone and good evening to everyone present over here, all our dignitaries, friends, everyone joining us from all across the world. Firstly, I believe this conference is something we wanted to bring in a greater limelight, as we wanted to highlight about the AI and STEM as one of its important topics in today's scenario for the youth. And today we also have a diverse set of audiences joining us. It's not just the youth, but we also have, with the support of our partners, we're able to mobilize a lot of participants from Asia, Africa, Canada, and United States. And I'm sure this conference is surely going to bring in a greater way of learning for all of us and more of a knowledge sharing session within each one of us. Boden Foundation has been doing enormous amount of summits in the last couple of months. This is one of its kind where we want to explore a brainstorming of AI and STEM. As we all know, artificial intelligence is in a leading technology at the moment, and we would like to understand its interfaces through all our senior experts present over here in panel discussions and our guests and our dignitaries on how they are bringing it in the form of their, in their organizations and implementing it. And I'm sure it's going to be very great to hear but about the best practices that are going to be brought about in today's session. And it's going to carry a greater way of, how to work together. This conference is going to see in terms of what we're going to explore next and how we can have more of such productive discussions in the forthcoming days. So with this, I would like to welcome you all to this conference once again, and I request Akshay Gatul to please take over. Thank you.
Thank you, Shreyas. Now I would like to invite Honorable Mr. Kenvil Namchi, Steering Committee or Chair of African Union Youth Assembly, to share his opening remarks as well. Over to Mr. Kenvil.
Sorry. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed delegates and distinguished guests from across the world, a warm welcome to the International Artificial Intelligence and STEM Education Conference, an event that marks the convergence of innovation, knowledge, and the boundless potential of young minds. As the steering committee chair of the African Union Youth Assembly, I come before you with immense pride and enthusiasm to explore the fascinating intersection of artificial intelligence and STEM education. In the heart of Africa, a continent steaming with diversity, rich cultural heritage, and unparalleled talent, gather here today to bridge the gap between cutting-edge technology and transformative education. And our mission is not just to uncover the mysteries of artificial intelligence, but to empower the future generations of African leaders, scientists, engineers, and visionaries who will shape the destiny of our continent. STEM education, with its emphasis on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, has long been the cornerstone of progress. It is the pathway that has led humanity to remarkable advancements, from landing on the moon to revolutionizing healthcare, and from connecting the world through the internet, finding sustainable solutions for pressing global challenges. Today, ladies and gentlemen, as we add the remarkable element of artificial intelligence to the equation, we usher in a new era of possibilities. Artificial intelligence has emerged as a transformative force, disrupting industries, optimizing processes, and redefining the way we live and work, but its potential extends far beyond that. It can be a catalyst for inclusive growth and sustainable development, helping us tackle some of the most pressing issues our world faces today, such as climate change, poverty, and healthcare disparities. We must be conscious of the ethical implications also of artificial intelligence, and that's something I want to explore today. And as we delve deeper into the realms of artificial intelligence, we must uphold the principles of fairness, transparency, and accountability, because artificial intelligence should be harnessed as a force for good, guided, and our shared values of our compassion, empathy, respect for human rights. As the African Union is assembled, we envision a future where artificial intelligence and STEM education become the driving forces behind an Africa that leads, innovates, and transforms. And we are joining the world now, help us in steering this journey. And together we can unlock the full potential of our continent, making strides towards prosperity, sustainability, and social equality. I therefore urge you all to participate actively, engage in meaningful dialogue, forge lasting partnerships that will propel our shared vision forward. The road ahead may be challenging, but it's one we must embark on with determination and optimism. Thank you for your presence here today, for joining us in this incredible journey of exploring the captivating intersection of artificial intelligence and STEM education. And together, let us empower the youth of the world to create a brighter tomorrow for us all. Thank you, Asante Sana.
Thank you, Mr. Kelvin, for your enlightening words. Now, without any further delay, I would like to invite Mr. Arvind Subramaniam over here. Mr. Arvind Subramaniam is an Associate Vice President at Startup Tamil Nadu, Startup Tamil Nadu is an agency of government of Tamil Nadu nurturing a benevolent entrepreneurial ecosystem in the state. Mr. Arvind is passionate about helping startup and helping young entrepreneurs to pitch in their business efficiently. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Shreyans. Thank you very much. I'm elated today to be a part of this pivotal event, and my best wishes to you and Bodhan. I especially assented to being part of the event because I love volunteering. Right, I read about Project Bodhan and I understood what you're trying to do there. And to me, nothing is much. A volunteer is somebody who does things not only for himself but for everyone, but for for the complete ecosystem, right? And that is what India is to me. I have volunteered myself in various organizations with regards to entrepreneurship, and have been an integral part of building the entrepreneurship ecosystem in India and Tamil Nadu. And that is what it has, and that paying forward ethos as what got me where I am today. And I'm sure Project Bodhan will be a similar stepping stone for you and your team. Congrats on that. So moving on to what I do at what Startup TN is and what we do at Startup TN. Like you said, Startup TN is an agency of the government of Tamil Nadu, which is tasked with creating, creating a inclusive ecosystem in Tamil Nadu. When we mean inclusive ecosystem for startups and entrepreneurs, it is not one monolithic ecosystem wherein everything is based in the capital city, or everything is based around, or all entrepreneurship is based around technology based startups or anything like that. What we want to do is we want to create or spread entrepreneurship across Tamil Nadu, across all the districts of Tamil Nadu. We already have 8 hubs working across Tamil Nadu, and we have sector specific initiatives with regards to technology, SaaS, circular economy, EV. So we have identified about 30 sectors, out of which major or non-tech sectors, and we are pushing entrepreneurship there, including inclusive entrepreneurship. This is what I do at Startup Tamil Nadu, right? So coming on to what I'm here to talk about today, I'm here to talk about how STEM education and STEM professionals as such are very important to building the future and building the entrepreneurial ecosystem in the country. STEM, and to me, being a non-STEM professional, I'm not. Let me clear, I'm not a STEM professional. I'm a liberal arts professional, right? But to me, I see STEM professionals as artists much better than liberal arts professionals. I see them as artists in their very own sense. But coming from a 20th century, I'm from a 1980s background. The 21st century honestly seems like a letdown for many of me, for many people like me. We grew up on Isaac Asimov novels, and we grew up on movies like iRobot, Star Wars, and all that, and we grew up believing that we'll have flying cars, that we'll be traveling around with flying cars, we'll go to office in flying cars, and so on and so forth. But are we there yet? No. But the world today is a much better place than what I grew up in, and I see it progressing in a much better path and that is all thanks to STEM. And all of the STEM professionals are entrepreneurs in their own sense. Mostly people like, if you take Bill Gates, he was a STEM professional turned entrepreneur. Michael Dell, he was a STEM professional turned entrepreneur. And all these people that you see that have changed the world today for better and used. So the world is a better place today because of STEM, right? Sorry. Just give me a second.
Sir, you're muted, sir. Arvind, sir.
Sorry. I had to disconnect the call. So coming back to STEM education in the country today, and entrepreneurship. What I desire much better industry academia collaboration that what we see in the US. So if you take industry academia collaboration in the US, it is very strong, as you can see with how companies like Sun were born out of Stanford University, Google was born out of Stanford University. Is that happening in India? No, not right now. But we are seeing a lot of progress in states, especially like Tamil Nadu and Gujarat, where a lot of accelerators, TBA funded accelerators are coming up. Tamil Nadu and Gujarat leads in the number of accelerators. Tamil Nadu is second in number of accelerators. So all these STEM institutions, they are promoting entrepreneurship in STEM-based sectors. So, and how do we create more STEM-based entrepreneurs in these sectors? Is via mostly we should be doing hackathons a lot. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry, guys. I keep getting a call. I'll just have to disconnect it and come back. So, coming back, I see incubators and these STEM incubators and these TBIs as a cornerstone of STEM-based entrepreneurship in the country. And I have worked with a lot of these STEM-based incubators, and I urge, if there are these academia professionals here, I urge them to do more of these hackathons and bring the industry and academia together to benefit the students. But again, India, now everyone talks about India being a technology hub and make in India, made in India and all that. But is there really a lot of make in India happening? Is a question that to be asked, right? For example, we in Tamil Nadu are working with a lot of AI-based companies. Now this conference itself is about AI. In Tamil Nadu, we are working with a lot of AI-based companies, but these AI-based companies, they are not, in a sense, they are not developing their own IP. They are working on IP already present in the US. They are taking up platforms that have been built in the US and building products on top of these platforms. In a sense, they are working downstream. So let's take an example of a company called Ilesa. They are a language translation company. They are using AI with the help of Google and Microsoft, aided by ChatGPT again, to translate books at scale, to translate books or any content at scale, right? But then again, there's no IP that they are creating. Without Google Translate and without ChatGPT, Ilesa as a product wouldn't exist. So, in my opinion, we are still only using AI. We are not creating AI technology or AI products, and this is where the progress should be. So, progress should be to move upstream from adopting these downstream technologies. We should move upstream into creating more IP-based products for India. The same can be said for IoT, not just AI. So, let's take IoT. IoT also which is a lot of equipment based. We need a lot of electronic equipments to be used, and all of these are again sourced from China, Taiwan, Korea, so on, right? Manufacturing, and they are just assembled here and called made in India. But when do we go ahead and manufacture these components itself in India? With India, I see a lot of acquisition from Africa. All of these countries, we should aspire to move upstream from just being users of these technologies or aggregators of these technologies. We should aspire to move upstream from adopting these technologies, right? So, and how do we do this? By building a better ecosystem with organizations like Startup TN, with organizations like Head Start, all the state agencies, what CIE is doing in IIM Ahmedabad as a front runner for all these organizations. They are building an ecosystem. They are bringing all the stakeholders together. At this juncture, I would like to quote a small poem from Tamil Sangam literature, Avayar. non-Tamil speakers, pardon me, but I'll explain the English translation later, right? So she said, "அற்ற குலத்து அறிஞர் பறவை போல ஒற்றுழி தேர்வார் உறவல்ல அக்குலத்தில் குட்டையும் ஆம்பலும் நெய்தலும் போலவே ஒட்டி உறவார் உறவு." She takes the pond ecosystem as an example of an ideal ecosystem, how an ideal ecosystem should be. So like a bird that comes and drinks water and eats the worm and flies away from the pond. An ideal ecosystem shouldn't be like that. An ideal ecosystem should be like the dead leaves that fall from the tree, that the worms, the fish, the trees and the barks of the trees that all fall into the pond and build a better pond ecosystem. We all have to work together, be it the government, be it the private entities, be it the institutions, be it the startups, be it education. We all have to work together to build this truly upstream technologies in India or Africa or any developing nation, right? And with this, I'd like to say 5 important elements that I compare with entrepreneurs and STEM professionals that they have in common, and why STEM professionals are better entrepreneurs and better at changing the world, right? So one thing is problem solving skills. What we say of entrepreneurs, the difference between entrepreneurs and business people itself is problem solving. A businessman earns money. A businessman wants to earn money, but an entrepreneur solves a problem and makes money. So STEM professionals as well as entrepreneurs share this singular trait of problem solving. Next is persistence. Persistence, never giving up. I have seen scientists, I have seen doctors, I have seen medical professionals, all persistence as the key. They never give up, right? And entrepreneurs too. Entrepreneurs, until they solve a problem, they don't want to go to sleep. At least 2 entrepreneurs who are very much keen on solving the problem. Third is again creativity. Like I said, not a lot of people think STEM professionals are creative, but I beg to disagree. Creativity is the cornerstone of STEM professionals, right? They are creative in their own way. Maybe they don't know to paint. They do not do art. They do not take good photographs, but they are creative in their own way. They're creative problem-solving techniques and all that. And fourth would be working with data. So both entrepreneurs and STEM professionals are very analytical people. They rely on data, hard evidence, and this is what helps them solve problems. And the last but not least is again teamwork. Every STEM professionals understand the need for a complementary team of professionals, right? Skills that each one I may be good at something and you may be good at something else. So we have to come together and work. And this is what entrepreneurs do. So, and this is why I believe STEM professionals are better in terms of entrepreneurship across, not just in India, across the globe, if you take an example. And I would say 3 points that both STEM professionals as well as entrepreneurs need to develop. One thing is again passion. Like I said, like a volunteer, they should have the passion to pursue their singular dream, be it solving it, be it building a project, building a prototype, or building a business on top of the product that they have built. All of this takes passion, right? And second is learning. You never stop learning. A doctor once told me, Dr. Bhaktavachalam from KG Hospital, he used to tell me once that if you haven't read anything yesterday, you are illiterate today. If you haven't read anything in the morning, you are illiterate in the evening. So this has stuck with me for a long time, and I follow this to the T. And I suppose all STEM professionals do this as well as entrepreneurs. This is something that keeps them on the edge. And the last and the third thing is first principles approach. Whatever problem you are trying to solve, whatever your product you're trying to build, adopt a first principles approach. Break down that product or assumption into its most basic component and start building from there. So these 3 things I think both entrepreneurs as well as STEM professionals should inculcate. And I would like to end my speech with that. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your inspiring word. Herein, I would like to take this opportunity to invite a special guest, Dr. Indira Parekh, former Dean of IIM Ahmedabad and Principal Advisor at Project Growth. Over to you, madam.
Thank you, Akshay. International delegates to the conference. Namaste, everybody. Bodham, the young people who have started the Bodham is really great service to what they are doing. And it is very privileged to be associated with them because they're always coming up with innovative ideas and creative topics for and delivering it very well. So I'm pleased to be here. You see, as I see it, there comes a time in an individual's life, in an institution's life, and a country's time to open up its space for new things to come in. And this is the time in the world when a lot of new innovations are coming into the country. Every country is bringing in innovation, intervention, and AI is the result of science as it began maybe a few hundred years ago, and as it evolved over a period of time. Finally, the engineering was the focus at some point of time, and then it became STEM, science, technology, engineering, and maths. And now the AI is one of the results and the consequences of growth of all this historical past. But at the same time, see, this is a good thing which is happening, entrepreneurship and all of that. But at the same time, one need not forget the human aspect of individuals and people getting together. Lost into the technology, sometimes people lose touch with each other. People lose sensitivity about each other, and people lose sensitivity about the institution. They are so much engrossed in the discoveries they are making that they actually forget what is happening to people around them, especially their families. I am an HR person, I am an OB person, so when I look at people around, and I have been a teacher for last 50 years, and gradually I have seen students becoming isolates, students becoming loners, and not having the capacity to interact and engage with each other in a meaningful manner. Sometimes intimacy frightens them. Sometimes relating to people frightens them because they do not know how to do it. They are able to work individually with all the qualities which the previous speaker described, but they do not have the capacity and the ability to relate to strangers and to other human beings. And I think we need to take care of this at the same time. It must go hand in hand. What I am seeing in the academic institutions are lots of mental issues which are cropping up, and they will crop up if the human touch and the human contact is diminished. So AI is very important because it does many new things, and it has helped in many sectors of the development. But at the same time, if we do not keep in touch with the people part of it, it will be a lot of damage to the institutions and to the people and to the country. Because there are many other aspects of life which are important as much as STEM is important, as much the what AI brings is important. We cannot disown the fact that AI helps in medicine, it helps in surgeries, it helps in lot of other things, and takes away the grit and the hard work of people. But at the same time, if we do not include to teach in our colleges and teach in STEM institutions the importance of human contact and the human interaction, it will be a disaster in the long run for younger people. The way the world is going, people do not know how to relate to each other, and there are no institutions who teach how to relate to people. People learn STEM, people learn AI, people learn to become entrepreneurs and create many innovative things. But this also is very, very important to include the relationship part of life, which is very important. There are many things. People will read science books, but not literature. People will reach AI literature and technology, but not read about literature which talks about human values, the human life. You see, the life cycle is completely disowned from the teachings at in the STEM institutions. Engineers are smart in logic. They're very much strong in research. They are very smart in creativity. They are very smart in doing many other things. But when it comes to relationship and when it comes to managing in the organization with people, like the previous speaker said, collaboration is important. But collaboration requires human attitudes. It requires human sensitivities. I think these need to be included as part of teaching and learning um, at AI and STEM institutions. I'm a very vociferous proponent of saying human beings need to relate to human beings. And if they don't, and it has to be taught somewhere in the culture of our countries, where human values become very important. Um, Relationships need to be maintained and relationship needs to be managed. And if it doesn't get managed, families break up, there are conflicts in the family, marriages break up, and children become loners. It's very much STEM and AI people are so engrossed in their work that they become loners and isolates, and we need to protect them and make sure that this does not happen. I once again thank Bodham for uh, designing this conference, because it is very important that there are lots of issues which need to be discussed, which need to be seen as consequences of STEM and AI and what it does to human beings and what it does to human life in general, not only in every country, in every family, every institution, but in the world. So Bodham is doing very good work, and I'm happy to be associated with it. And Shreyas and Akshay, congratulations for organizing such an international event, and with your so much effort, dedication, and commitment to engage with the young people, to bring them new ideas, to bring them broad perspectives of understanding. You're doing a great job. Congratulations. And thank you very much, all the international delegates, for joining in. Sometimes the times are different, the time zones are different, but many of you have joined, and I'm sure you will enjoy the conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for your kind and eye-opening words. Now, I would like to invite our guest of honor, Mr. Sesha Sai. Mr. Sesha Sai has an extensive journey from being an entrepreneur, taking a sabbatical to honorary council honorary council for Republic of Seychelles, to Secretary General for Council Corps Diplomat. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Namaskaram, ma'am. It was awesome to hear from you, ma'am. And I also heard from the gentleman who spoke about the entrepreneurship and how it can be connected to AI and the STEM part of it. So let me start off like how Madam had said, Namaskaram. Namaste is what the North Indians say, but in the South we say Namaskaram because it's the action. We fold our hands, close our eyes, and bend down a little, and it's got a very unique meaning, which actually means I see divinity in you, and I bow to the divinity in front of me. So Namaskaram to all of you, and it is an awesome thing to kind of connect with you from all over the world. I see a lot of people from Africa, and we see from Bay City, and I see Ritika Shrawat from probably Wall Street. Her background. I'm a little worried whether it is an AI or it is probably something she set up. And I see some fan. I thought somebody might become my fan here. So it's a great thing to be, an honor to be here. And Shreyas, you're doing a wonderful job. And thank you for the persistence of wanting me to come and join this meeting. It's a Saturday evening, I too need some kind of a recreation is what I thought. But this itself is something which I can learn, and awesome feeling to have you here. Okay, let me start off by saying that I am an entrepreneur, I am a diplomat, I am a professor, I am a hardcore Rotarian, very passionate about being a Rotarian to serve the country and the society. And recently I had been also a farmer. So I thought, how is it that I can talk about AI, which I do not know much about it? So first thing I thought I will talk about a little of entrepreneurship. I've been the bottler for Kinley, which is I'm a Coca-Cola bottler, and we had the largest mineral water factory way back in 2004 to 2008. Then an Indonesian plant was constructed in Jakarta, and that became the largest factory in Asia. Now, if I had a plant today, how well can I have the scenario is what I was thinking. If I had tools on terms of understanding the data on a particular day with a certain temperature, how much should I produce? That's something which would have been awesome, because I would have cut down costs on the inventory, and that would have been a phenomenal cost cutting, and would actually take more profits. And we, myself and Coca-Cola, had an agreement saying that there are minimum guarantee of certain cases would be given. And if Coca-Cola is benefited at that point of a time, personally, I would have got benefited. The second thing is, I was a distributor for Nokia phones, and we were the largest distributors. In fact, our company backed the best distribution award for India. And I was given a huge stage with about 2,000 people in Delhi, in Taj, and that's a very memorable moment for me. And one of the reasons why they gave me that kind of an award is because on a particular Diwali day, we sold 32,000 phones on a single day. 32,000 phones. And I had a big problem. The problem was I need to pay in advance. And when I talk about 10,000 phones, it means I need about 3 crores in advance to be paid to Nokia. Suddenly, one morning at 9 o'clock, they say there's a lot of demand. How do I cope up with that money? I cannot go just to the bank and say, hey, give me 3 crores. That's not going to happen, because our growth was exponential. I mean, you'll be surprised to see that at that point, Nokia was growing at 800%. And that's a huge growth. So as an entrepreneur, if I had known that the purchase pattern of the consumer is growing year by year, and this could be your probable growth. In fact, we thought that we lost out the opportunity of selling 5,000 more phones on that Diwali day. So that's how I thought AI would definitely help us to kind of align ourselves into the customers' understanding and their purchase behavior. The second part is I am a diplomat. I am a honorary consul for a country called Seychelles. And Seychelles is a very small country. It has got 105 islands, and their GDP is about 4 times more than India. But then again, they have a problem. The problem is, like I said, it is a small country, and because of that, the population is also very low. Their population is only about 1 lakh of people. To be exact, it is 89,000 people, excluding the expats. And these people, though they have money, they don't have a viable hospital. Chennai being the tourism hub, they bring all their patients to Chennai, at least the patients who can kind of need a long-term treatment to Chennai. And because of that relationship with Chennai, they wanted a person who can actually represent that country. So initially, I'm more into the community services like medical camps and all that in Rotary and Roundtable. They chose me just to assist them. it came as a shock for me when the then ambassador, Mr. Dick Patrick Esperon, suddenly said, "I want to make you the honorary consul." And recently, 2 years ago, I was given the opportunity, amazing opportunity, to become the honorary consul general. And by becoming honorary consul general, I have an opportunity to become a citizen for Seychelles, and soon I might have an opportunity to become the ambassador for the country for 11 other countries, including India. So that is the kind of opportunity I had by being with Seychelles. It's more of a honorary post than, unlike a career diplomats, where I kind of get a salary. I don't get any salary. I just do service, and I'm very happy doing that service, because for me, happiness is making somebody else happy. Now, how do I connect that with the AI part of it? Is what I thought. See, since the Seychelles is a country and it's got a small population, and if the doctors can perform a surgery here on an AI, and if the same machinery or robotic machinery at Seychelles can perform on certain patients, that would be a huge breakout. That would be a phenomenal kind of a connect which can happen, where the expert is able to perform a surgery online, or whatever you call it, on AI. That's one thing which will be mind-blowing. And recently I had visited Apollo Hospital in Chennai, where the doctors are outside the operation theater and performing using a robotic machine. And this was a colon cancer which they removed using a robotic machine. By doing that, there was accuracy. You don't take away extra from that. You directly, go into the specific area and remove that part alone. That's something which is wonderful, is what I thought. Now, as a professor, if I had to do a 45-minute class, I probably would have taken about 2-3 days, collecting about 10 books. Madam Sunshine, Madam from Sapna, and me, when we were studying, we used to go to Connemara Library in Chennai, take about 10 books to write some essay for about 45 minutes. But today, I think it's just about 10 minutes. From here, if I have to give a speech in a particular school, it takes exactly 10 minutes, because I have the AI tools. I will just ask, what to speak today. Let's say if I have to speak about passion or empathy, like Madam had said, I just have to take some examples and roll it around, and with my, with that kind of a passion, if I can kind of deliver, I save a lot of time. And finally, I'm a Rotarian. Like I said, I'm very passionate about being a Rotarian. So we have so many needy things for the underprivileged. To find out exactly what these people need, it is not anymore the food. I always thought that a lot of people do not have food. Like C.K. Prahalad that said, we are in a kind of a pyramid. It is no more a pyramid. The belly has grown. The middle income group, the middle income people have started growing. They're growing, and there is a lot of disposable income with them. So how do we kind of handle that kind of a situation? We thought it is not about food anymore, because we have enough and food in our country. Our food security is in a positive note. But what is important is that we kind of give it a nutritious food. A lot of people have deficiency in iron, and a lot of people are, especially the women children or the school children, are suffering from various other diseases. And so if we can kind of target on that by getting the information from AI, that'll be amazing. I'm a farmer. What I did is I gave away all my businesses to my brothers, and I suddenly started seeing that my calling is with the farming. But I decided that I will just do organic farming, because somehow after being a professor, I wanted to be connected with the nature. And in the process, I realized organic farming takes about 5 years for you to be sustainable. So one thought came, and youngsters like Shreyas gave me this thought, saying that why don't you take school children to your farm and give them a one-day farming experience. So we started this brand called Farm Guru. And Farm Guru is a brand where we bring school children and they get into the agriculture field. They have a one-day farming experience by which we kindle their innovation. We also make sure they understand the importance of farming in our country. Even till today, in spite of all this growth, close to about 54% of the Indian population is dependent on agriculture. So how is this school or these intelligent people or the innovative people? I am a bald guy. no more innovation will happen in my brain. So youngsters like Shreyas, and we have Dr. Rainis, Robin, and of course Saujanya Madam is there. All of them will have phenomenal innovation in trying to bring. And of course, we have Saravat, who's like really young and making a lot. I mean, they have ability to learn more and give this innovation. And that is possible if we kind of use tools from AI. So recently, when I was doing farming, I did one of these classes for Loyola College, where he came out with this amazing solution, which is the beautiful innovation which he thought is that, sir, you have rice, you have coconuts, and you have lentils, and you have cows where it can give ghee. So why don't you start a idli shop? I thought that was a brilliant idea. With the limited resources, how you can scale up your business and make sure the farmer can be happy. This is one of the greatest ideas of which I thought is kind of important. Now, using AI tools in understanding how to put a social cause up in front and then build a business is something which I thought is phenomenal. And thank you, Shreyas. Today, I have learned more about AI and STEM, and that is because of you. And this speech of AI of mine is purely again because of AI, because I went into the tool and took some notes from there also. So God bless you all, and namaskaram. Have a wonderful weekend, and thank you once again for the opportunity. Namaskar.
Namaskaram, sir. Thank you so much for such an enlightening address this evening. And as we move on to our agenda and we proceed forward, I'll be taking the host from here. So we have our next guest of honor and a keynote speaker for today. We have Mr. Rahul Pachori, sir, the Deputy Secretary, Ministry of Education, Government of India, and a PhD scholar from IIM Indore. Mr. Rahul Pachori, sir, is one of the distinguished officers of the Indian Railway Service, recognized for his exceptional contributions in the field, with a strong academic background in electrical engineering. He has earned accreditations as an energy auditor. In addition, he is an alumnus of the Advanced Management Program in Public Policy from the esteemed Indian School of Business, ISB. Rahul sir has played a pivotal role in shaping policies and initiatives to enhance the educational landscape of the nation. His expertise has been instrumental in successfully collaborating with the World Bank on the external aided project STARS, strengthening teaching, learning, and results for states. Moreover, he has been deeply involved in driving advancements in teacher education as well as overseeing the operations of PARAK, the National Assessment Center. He has provided notable contributions in the implementation of the flagship scheme, Samagra Shiksha, across various states and union territories. Recently, Mr. Rahul Pachori has also represented the Indian delegation, and he has delivered the country statement at the BRICS Education Senior Officials Meeting in South Africa this year. I would like to welcome you, sir, and request you to please present your inaugural address and also present your keynote address for the day. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Shreyas. Thanks a lot for the kind words and the lovely introduction. Good evening, everyone, once again. It's a pleasure to be here amongst the august audience. As the enlightened speakers before me have spoken most of the things regarding AI, I am not sure how much more I would be able to contribute, but still, taking on from where Dr. Parekh left, saying the human aspect should not be ignored while talking about AI, I would start by giving a small anecdote. Currently, whenever we talk to students, teachers, or people in general, the most notable aspect regarding AI is that people are afraid AI is going to take over all the human operations, more so regarding teaching. Usually accepted that with AI, with ChatGPT, Quillbot, the YouTube videos, etc., teachers are not going to be, the future of learning. I just remember one small anecdote I would like to narrate, and that is when I was young, there was a Sanjeev Kapoor show, cookery show, which we used to watch on one of the TV channels. It was like a smaller version of the national, international, Australian chef or something. It was just a cookery show, and I was very enthralled by seeing some male cooking, and I thought that maybe one day I can also cook. So I requested my mother, who's an excellent cook, I requested her that I also want to cook today, and I very passionately went to the kitchen and I asked her, okay, where are the cups with all the ingredients? Where is the chopped onion and where are the chopped tomatoes? And just tell me and I'll make the dish. And she told me very nicely that, you start by washing the tomatoes first, and then you start by peeling off the onions, and then you reach to that stage where you get the chopped onions and everything. And I just told her, no, actually, in the show, they get everything ready. And she said, this is not a show. The point being, the AI that we have in our amidst today, AI will do the chopping for us. But the final work of, mixing the ingredients and getting what is desirable is left to the humans. So AI is there as a facilitator. AI will do the mundane jobs, but AI will not provide the creativity that human aspect brings in. So the key aspect whenever we talk about learning, teachers, jobs going out of proportion, anything, we have to understand that AI is here to stay. So we have to learn, unlearn, and relearn. But the creativity of humans has been there and will always be there. That is the key aspect, the key ingredient which we have to keep in mind. I'll share my screen. I have a very small presentation and not really too technical. So I just hope everybody would be able to appreciate what I just spoke about. So this is the topic that I'm speaking on, the transformative power of AI in STEM education. As I'm sure everyone would be aware, STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And it's not just STEM, actually. In fact, many of the countries have now increased it to STEAM. Even arts has been brought in under the umbrella. But sticking to STEM, the transformative power of artificial intelligence. Recently, McKinsey has released a study with 2017 as the baseline, that what is the future like? I mean, what international, what jobs would be lost, what jobs would be gained under different scenarios through 2030. On the right, you see the number of teachers that are predicted. And if we see India, they predict that 208% of growth in teachers with the baseline as 2017 by 2030. Whereas if you see the predictable physical work, almost all of the countries have a very small percentage. India still being 15%. If we see Germany, Japan, US, the percentage is going in negative. So the physical work is going to reduce, whereas the creative work of a teacher is going to increase multifold. Similarly, if we see the impact, the impact automation will have, on different kinds of work, then we see that creatives are going to increase, teachers are going to increase, technology professionals, care providers are going to increase. So basically, wherever the human aspect dominates, the creativity of a human professional dominates, those jobs are going to increase and they will be very, very impactful in the future. So the skills that are on rise, creative thinking, analytical thinking, systems thinking, technological literacy, curiosity, resilience, AI and big data. So, the conference very well supports and goes in the direction which is the future. So, how do we, categorize the AI and big data skill? It's a technology skill as well as an engagement skill. So 44% of reskilling is the future. That is what the World Economic Forum predicts, and that is merely 5 years from now. So now moving on to STEM, what is STEM? We already discussed. If we see STEM at the global level, India leads the world with highest number of graduates, totaling around 78 million, and is closely followed by China with 77.7 million. So if we just take a look at the statistics on the left, we see that recent graduates, India, there is a boom. US currently holds the 3rd position, and STEM graduates have become a vital cog in the wheel of global prosperity. In fact, World Economic Forum reported that China had 4.7 million recent STEM graduates in 2016. India had 2.6 new STEM graduates last year. As I'm from the education sector, I couldn't help but bring in some aspects from the National Education Policy 2020. Even the government is now recognizing STEM, and our National Education Policy clearly holds STEM in high regard. And in multiple places, it is mentioned that encouraging experimental learning, not rote learning. We utilize AI to foster multilingualism, holistic education, advanced research. The aim is to provide undergraduate and postgraduate courses on AI and related subjects. There's just a quote from Flaming Boy, and very rightly says that in order for us to sustain growth and stability, there is need for us to embrace and promote STEM education. We all know these apps, and I just showed them, to just reaffirm my point that even with Quillbot, Grammarly, and ChatGPT, the students cannot prepare something which is really creative unless and until they apply themselves. And having said that, these apps are not to be used merely on their face value. In fact, they are supposed to be used as foundations to develop something even better and much quicker. When you have an app like ChatGPT or Quillbot or Grammarly, your basic mundane work is taken care by these apps. So the idea is the professional is supposed to focus on the creative aspect, on an in-depth analysis, and give results which have much more implications for policy making as well as implementation. I mean, we just see AI in other sectors like Alexa, Siri, Mobotics 7 app, parking app. I mean, it is wonderful to see small kids using apps like Alexa for learning languages. I have a 7-year-old daughter, and she goes to the Alexa every day, and she'll just ask her, okay, what is the meaning of friend in French? How do I say good morning in French? And she has started picking up words from another language. So AI has to be used in a very creative manner. The option is not to be with the AI, but with the humans, of tapping the potential that AI provides us. Because I have worked in the Indian Railways for almost more than 10 years now. Transportation sector is a crucial and very vital sector in which AI is going to, just have vast implications. With analytics using various CCTV systems, control rooms, even constructional sites, all can be monitored, analyzed. I mean, we see that just taking data from a government website, apps like Trainman, they have provided applications to the users, and tracking of trains is to an extent where they can predict which station is just about to come without having any government intervention. It is an app prepared by a third party. So it is amazing what AI can do. And with all the creativity people can muster, AI in STEM has no limits at all. A senior researcher, Chris Dade, said this on AI. The trick about AI is that to get it, we need to change that we are educating people. Because if you educate people for what AI does well, you are just preparing them to lose to AI. But if you educate them for what AI can't do, then you have got IA, which is intelligence augmentation. So instead of AI, the focus has to be IA, intelligence augmentation. Just two interesting discourses that AI will make change, learning, and work in the future. But individuals need to use AI to educate themselves. So you get to learn AI, and then you learn using the AI. In the age of AI, who survives? A creative thinker, a communicator, a problem solver, an innovative thinker, an adapter, and ideator. 21st century assessment key takeaways. AI will assist in this role. And as ma'am rightly pointed out, that students are individuals. They are not just to be taught, but they are to be taught to work in groups. They are supposed to be taught to be social. The emphasis has to be on right, not just being quick. to conclude, I would just say that AI can automate, but cannot replicate creativity. Thank you so much for giving me the time and listening to me patiently. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a wonderful keynote presentation. If we have any questions, since we have some time, I request the audiences to please pose their questions to Mr. Rahul Pachori based on the keynote presentation. So I think I just have a question, sir, since I'd like to start off, and that might probably motivate our fellow participants today to, kind of ask a question on what it is. So how does STEM education seek to elaborate and provide innovative solutions to solve the global issues in particular, those directly and related, which are connected to the SDGs? As we know, today's conference, it's not just about the convergence of AI and STEM, but then this is something to also focus also on the global development goals as well, which we are trying to achieve by 2030. So I'd request you to please, a little bit of enlightenment on this would, add a greater value in today's session.
Thank you, Shreya. Sure. I would like to answer to the best of my capabilities, and I'll try and touch upon two sectors in this. First would be education. So when we talk about STEM, inherently what we are trying to do is build individuals who have a much more holistic viewpoint. The idea being that we need professionals for future who are able to not just do development, but carry out development in a very sustainable fashion. Sustainability is the key, as SDG goals are also pointing towards. So the idea here is that we are able to build individuals who have the capacity to provide sustainable development. That is one. I'll come to the transportation sector and give you a very small example of how STEM professionals have come up with a platform, and I'm sure many of you will be knowing this, or else you can just Google it and you'll find out. A platform called PM Gati Shakti. PM Gati Shakti is a platform which brings multiple layers onto one platform just to provide a much better logistic solution. It brings the railways, the transportation sector, the ports, everywhere, everything to a common podium, interweaves them, and it aims to simplify the logistics cost so as to from 14 or 18% to the range of 5 to 8%. Now the cost of logistics is very crucial here, because ultimately all the logistical movement involves consumption of fuel. So once we are able to reduce that, optimize that, it will be another step towards sustainability, improving the requirements as per SDG. That's it.
Thank you for that, sir. We also have a question from one of the audiences on the chat box. I can read it for you. As a college student, I have a question pertaining to my education. How do you envision AI affecting education in terms of academic malpractice?
Yeah, this is something even I get a lot from my colleagues and students and teachers, and I also have faced this situation. So see, AI is something which is going to, people try to use it for malpractices, but then AI always counters AI. So as I said, that you first learn to use AI and then you learn using AI. Initially, when people started copying from Google, then there was a option which came up, which was Turnitin. Then we brought in Quillbot. So Turnitin was even expanded to find out the paraphrasing from Quillbot. In fact, I was reading something about CopyLeaks today. So if you give CopyLeaks 2 documents, it will compare and tell you how much percentage has been paraphrased, how much has been copied, and how much is similar. So AI will counter AI, number one. Number two, see, the professors that teach They have come up through all the different practices. They have seen it, and they have enough experience to understand what AI can write and what a student can write. And in fact, I have seen this, that students came in with a chat GPT response. To my surprise or shock, the professor also had generated a chat GPT response for his question and kept it ready just to counter check whether the response is on similar lines or not. So don't worry too much. Malpractices, AI will take care of AI.
I think we have Shri ma'am as well, who would like to ask a question. She's one of our partners for this event as well. Yes.
Hi, sir. Sorry, I'm in a low bandwidth area and I can't turn on my video, but it was really nice listening, very refreshing listening to you, sir, specifically on your presentation. My question was, I'm a founder of Impactory.ai. We are a technology company working in the sustainability space. And often when we work in sustainability, the main challenge we see is social, cultural, and economic aspects to sustainability are really never embedded in most of the solutions that are designed. And what does that exactly happen to is we take models when we look at ESG or SDG from abroad and try post-fitting it in India, where the social, cultural, and economic scenarios are very different, be it India or Africa. Now, that's one question I had when we look at STEM. Like, for example, Vedic model systems were used in Formula One to improve efficiency of cars and operation routes. But very rarely do you see when we are actually building AI models in India, do we focus on the social, cultural, and economic aspects of building something which is more Indianized? Or even look at Indian culture systems which might fit into developing that intelligence that you said in AI, right? AI can actually give you everything like a chopped onion, but it cannot put it together unless you build that intelligence. So what do you see that is happening right now in the ecosystem in India to drive that thought in STEM? Because I think that is very crucial to actually building the next generation of students that we work with, who are sensitive that socio-economic, cultural differences may be very different in countries. And that has to be actually factored in when we build those models that we are talking about that transform sustainability.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I couldn't agree, and thanks a lot for the appreciation. I would like to give a couple of examples just which I can remember, and maybe we can take this conversation forward even after the meeting, because it is a very interesting observation and I agree that many of the solutions that we take for sustainability are from the Western world, and sometimes, or rather many a times, we are not able to contextualize those solutions, and that is why they don't work many a times. The idea is absolutely bang on, that any solution has to be contextualized to the country that it is being applied to. I'll give you a very small example from Indian Railways. Recently, because we imported a lot of electrical locomotives, the engines that in local parlance we call it, electrical locomotives from various countries. The first lot had a lot of issues, because when you run something in Finland and Europe and then you bring it to the Indian tracks where it's warm, it's muddy, it's dusty, things don't perform as well. But then slowly we learned, and we took it from there. So I agree that it is an issue in the initial phase, but then we are learning on it, and it can't be done in a day or two. In fact, on the other aspect, when you said the contextualization flavor, if you can just Google it, and you'll find out that based on the Google Translation app recently, AICTE has come up with a translation app which translates languages to Indian languages, and with quite a lot of improvement over the Google Translation, because Google Translate would just translate English to Hindi or whichever language you want to. It doesn't really understand the nuances of the words that are supposed to be used. So they have come up with Anuvadini and Bhashini, which are really useful tools. And just one more example before I conclude is a platform called Diksha. Diksha platform is something which has come up through the government of India in a unique way, just during the COVID times, which impacted a lot of children. It provided an online learning platform, and it has just grown like anything. In fact, Now, many countries from Africa, they are emulating the platform and they are learning from us of how to implement it. Because the important aspect whenever we talk about countries like India or countries from Africa is that the population that we deal with is much more than when we talk about Western countries. So I agree, and thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Since we are running slightly short of time, I believe I have some questions come up for sir as well. But we are very much sure that we'll be escalating these questions to you separately, sir. So we could have you answering them and connecting with our audiences as well. And please be assured that our participants also will be receiving the LinkedIn profiles based on the consent of our speakers and our guests. And you can connect with them on LinkedIn and other social media platforms and engage with them. So with this, we conclude the inaugural ceremony. We are running slightly in a short delay. We shall start with the panel discussion as already informed at 7:45 p.m. We'll have a short video being played and over the guests which will be taking over regarding from the inauguration to validatory for today. And we'll be taking this forward from here. So we'll just break in for 2 minutes and thank you so much. And please be here in the meeting room. We'll start in 2 minutes. Thank you. Yes, we'll be sharing the recordings of this session. You will be receiving it in the participants group as well.
Step education. நேத்திரக்கல்ல தெரியுமா அப்படி இருக்கீங்க
Research Council, and also a couple of more esteemed organizations as well. She's an avid entrepreneur too, and she is also highly focused towards digital transformation, the applicability and flexibility for business models and plans that she has developed in her tenure. Nationally, Leneka has also been awarded the Governors General Award for Excellence and the Prime Minister's Youth Award for Excellence in Community Service. We are very elated to have you over here, ma'am, for today's panel discussion. Moving on to our third panelist, we have Dr. C.R. Rene Robinson, the Dean and Professor of Innovation at Sri Sairam Engineering College from Chennai. So Dr. Rene sir has received his ME CSE and PhD CSE degrees from CEG Anna University, India in 2006 and 2011. As you can see, he is presently the Dean at Sairam Engineering College and has worked in Jerusalem College of Engineering since July 2006 and has held positions like Professor and Head Department of CSE and Joint Director and Associate Dean. His other responsibilities at JCE were also project head of the imparting skill training to rural candidates and the IQAC coordinator and MBA coordinator as well. He has an interest including ontological engineering, knowledge management, e-learning, semantic web, etc. He's recognized supervisor of Anna University to guide PhD and MS students. As you can see, Dr. Rene Robin over here is also an author, and he's written a book on the role of ontology in software risk management, KM approach, published by LAMP Management Framework to teach engineering courses. I've been knowing Dr. Rene sir for a while, and he's also been focusing highly on the sustainable development goals as well, and helping many engineering students at Sairam Engineering College, not just to become engineers in their profession or their expertise, but also to become future entrepreneurs. A warm welcome to you, sir, in today's AI and STEM conference. As we move on to our next guest, we have Mr. Vivek Shankar Narayan, sir, the co-founder of Impact AI. Welcome to the conference, sir. Vivek Shankar Narayan, sir, is a co-founder and chief operating officer at Impact 3, a cutting-edge technology startup, and also one of our partners for today's conference that focuses on revolutionizing impact management across social impact and sustainability. Education-wise, Mr. Vivek is armed with bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from St. Joseph's, which honed his analytical skills and problem skill solving abilities as well. He also has a master's in business administration and MBA degree from the prestigious human needed to navigate the corporate world successfully. He holds 15 years of experience to the table, and throughout his professional journey, he has led diverse teams, blending his operations, strategy, and technology expertise as well. The seeds of Impact 3, the startup which he's one of the co-founders, were sown in Vivek and his co-founder Rajashri Madam, who is also present here in the conference. Both our partners have envisioned bridging the gap between quantitative and qualitative metrics. We have our next panelist, Honorable English John Copio, the Technical Director, Youth Affairs, Technology and Innovation, Government of Kenya, and the President of the African Union Youth Assembly in Kenya. Mr. John is a computer forensics expert, and he is also a founder of DigiWorld Solutions. He has over 10 years of expertise in the ICT field. He comes from a degree of Bachelor's of Science in Telecommunications and Information Engineering, coupled with a diploma in telecommunications and a professional qualification as well. He is also having vast skills, and his love for technology is one of his passions as well, which he has inculcated, and he offers consultancy services in line with information technology. We welcome you to today's conference, Mr. John. We have Ms. Ritika Saraswat, the founder and CEO of Redefine Canada, one of the youngest panelists for today. Welcome to the AI and STEM online conference, Ritika. So Ritika is a human capital consultant at Deloitte, and she is being involved in the space of empowering international students through her organization called as the Redefine, one of the organizers for today's conference, and has been able to empower over 10,000 students around Canada till now through events, workshops, and community channels on WhatsApp. And she's very active on LinkedIn as well, where she has 30,000 members, which she mobilizes in terms of connecting with the youth and engaging for programs. Additionally, she has also uplifted the youth from underprivileged communities, more than 30,000 from 4 countries and 20 regions, by providing them with access to education. She highly focuses on the SDGs, and for her work, she has been awarded the Iconic Women's Award for creating a change in the world by the World Women's Economic Forum, the Indian Achievers Award by IAF. She was selected among the top 3 professionals in Canada to be an ambassador and speaker at the One Young Conference 2023 Ireland. We welcome you to the panel, Ritika, and thank you for all of you joining over here. As we begin with today's panel discussion, we shall have a quick opening remarks from each of our panelists. We can start with Dr. Sushil sir to highlight the importance of this topic on AI integration in STEM curricula, strategies and implications. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Shreyas. Not only Shreyas, rather his Bodham complete team. And welcome to the delegates. I have only 2-3 points which I was actually excited by listening my earlier speakers. One is, I have to appreciate Bodham team that they have actually invited wonderful speakers, starting from IIM to Ministry of Education to Consulate. So they are actually good speakers. And I'll definitely love to connect even with them later also. That's one point. Second, as far as they have touched the point, I'll show it in a little different way because I've been working with Ministry of Defense also for a very long period. There I found it, can we have a balance between AI and HI? That is artificial intelligence and human intelligence. No doubt my earlier speaker, Dr. Pachauri, has already told about one part, especially related to intelligence augmentation. I talk about normally collaborations. So how the human and machines who are intelligent enough because of AI or because of any other technological inputs. So how we try to work on. That is one which I'm saying balance part. Second point, which I think I'll say Professor Indra, she has already touched about that. We have to understand the human relations part, human understanding part, and human cognition part. All 3 dimensions he has nicely touched upon. There also, I'll try to say that in that case, AI can be a wonderful secretary for us. I'll explain it in 1 minute only. In case if I have to be a smarter boss, then I can use a smart secretary. So in that, if AI is to be utilized properly, the proper prompt have to be given, then we can. But there is a fear that we can have a digital divide. That means by using AI, lots of us will become very, very intelligent because they'll be intelligently using the power of AI. But there is another aspects of it. Many of us will become dumb out of it. Because in case if we are not using it properly, many of our intelligence part, creativity part, lots of these things, because we are not challenging them, we are going to face the music of that also. So with that, I will again summarize because I'll take only these many minutes, that we should learn how to use AI effectively in whichever field we are. I'll lastly give an example because lots of our keynote speaker earlier had spoken even about AI with data analytics part. I'll give you one simple example how it has got a huge power. There are multiple sciences. I'm not going to cover a STEM part. I'll take only medical related science. And in that medical also, let me take only MRI as a modality. And even in MRI also, let me take only brain related scans. The number of scans which we get in India, and if we start using for that AI, the kinds of analytics which will be possible by AI, we can't even imagine the power. Because that's the kind of a data which is generated in India, not every year or day or month or whatever it is. Every second we create huge data, while AI is based on data analytics. With that, I'll stop it here. I love to listen other panelists. Thank you.
Thank you for your opening remarks, sir. We shall now move on to Ms. Leneka Roden from Jamaica.
Okay, thank you so much. I actually created a small presentation for my opening remarks. Can I be enabled to share screen?
Give me a minute. I'll just give you the host access. Yes, now you'll be able to share. Please go ahead.
All right, so hi again, everyone. I'm really happy to be here. I think artificial intelligence is definitely something that everyone is talking about, especially of late, because we are fearful of what it can do to our industry. So just a little background. So I actually have experience teaching STEM. And so this is where the relation comes in. So while I was teaching, these terms would be something that the head of the department or the principal of the school would always say to teachers, ensure that you use a blended instructional approach, ensure that you personalize learning, ensure that you use some computer or technology in delivering your lessons. And so, AI, in terms of being integrated into STEM, it has always been present in some cases, but perhaps on a very simpler scale. And we can't take for granted that AI actually makes our life easier. So even Dr. Sushil, who went before me, he would have said that AI is like a secretary for us, right? So it actually does a lot of work for us. AIs are like financial models, in terms of it is able to identify patterns, make predictions, and analyze alternative decisions. In a typical middle school math curriculum, students use a mathematical model to analyze which of the two cell phone plans is better. Financial planners even do the same in terms of when they're looking to tell you which one of the retirement portfolios would be better for you in terms of being more beneficial. And putting all of that information into an AI model, it can easily tell you that in a split second without it having to do calculations that will take minutes or even seconds. It just spits it back to you in real time. So the underlying AI model predicts which next word you'd like to write. Even if you're sending a message, you'll see a word pop up. That's AI at work. AI chat boxes are now doing large statistical calculations, and they're writing essays. And this is where the fear comes in, right? So AI is like theory and development, is a theory and development of computer systems able to perform tasks normally requiring human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, learning, decision-making, and natural language processing. So let's just dive right into it in literally 2 minutes. Artificial intelligence and STEM. So in understanding that AI increases automation and allows machines to do some tasks that only people did in the past leads us to really ask some questions, some really good questions. One, what is our collective vision of a desirable and achievable STEM education that leverages automation to advance learning while protecting and centering human agency, right? And two, how and on what timeline will we be ready with necessary guidelines as well as convincing evidence of positive impact so that constituents can ethically and equitably implement this vision widely. So essentially, we're looking for synergies between STEM education and artificial intelligence. How can it amplify the delivery of STEM education? How can it do so in such a way that both parties benefit in terms of the student and the teacher benefiting and the advancement of the technology, and not one having a larger benefit than the other? How can we make it ethical and equitable? So AI models in STEM ed will be approximations of reality, and constituents can always ask certain questions to any kind of AI. How precise are the AI models really? So in science, you have biological systems, photosynthesis, you have medicine, human anatomy, all of those kinds of subject areas that precision is very critical and important. It has to look exactly how it should. You can't make any mistakes with teaching our medical doctors that this is where the pancreas is located. It has to be very precise. Do they accurately capture what is important in terms of highlighting what generally the teachers usually try to stress in the classroom? How well do recommendations made by an AI model fit educational goals? Are we going to be planning with these with the developers of AI to ensure that there is some amount of agreement as it pertains to the different objectives of the school curriculum? What are the broader implications of using AI models at scale in educational processes? Right? And we can take it to the extreme. There are some students who will start to question, do I really need to go to school, or is it better if I just learn how to manipulate an AI device better? Right? So we want to also look at the student-teacher experience. So students and teachers are going to have it much easier. They can easily get some short answers from an AI device. So teachers giving students homework, students just go home, type in the questions that they got for their homeworks, and boom, they're getting the answer. Computers will provide outputs to students through text, graphics, and multimedia. So even if they need to do a presentation, for example, they can just type a request to the AI to say, hey, create a presentation on the human respiratory system, and that would be done in seconds, right? With AI interactions with AI, interactions with computer are likely to become more like human to human interactions. So can AI possibly serve as science tutors in the evenings? Maybe that already exists. A teacher may speak to an AI assistant and it may speak back. So teachers can use artificial intelligence as their very own assistants to help them to plan lessons, develop lesson plans, deliver lessons in a creative way. And so it's just really how you balance that kind of interaction. Teachers can be better able to manage students in terms of sending reminders for homework without having to even manually do the kind of day-to-day sending emails and all of that. You can just say to the AI, do this, do that. But there must be some rules for using artificial intelligence in STEM. Use of artificial intelligence and tools must be safe and effective for students. They must include algorithmic discrimination, protections, protect data privacy, protect notice and explanation, and provide a recourse to humans when problems arise. The people most affected by the use of artificial intelligence in education must essentially be a part of the development of the AI model system or tool, even if this slows the pace of adoption, because equity and ethics are two important things when you think about the advancement of AI in education. And rules for artificial intelligence. AI systems and tools must align to our collective vision of high quality learning including equity. So we have to ensure that in terms of the quality of education, that's not evaded or erased because of the advancement of artificial intelligence. AI systems and tools must be inspectable, explainable, and provide human alternatives to AI-based suggestions. In a sense, educators must be able to exercise professional judgment and override AI models when necessary. AI systems and tools must minimize bias, promote fairness, and avoid additional testing time and burdens for students and teachers. Speaking about racial bias, speaking about contextual bias, and finally, AI systems and tools must account for the context of teaching and learning and must work well in educational practice given variability in students, teachers, and settings. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Reneka, for your presentation and the opening remarks. As we move on next for the opening remarks, we'd like to hear from Dr. C.R. Rene Robin. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Shiaz, and all the organizing members for arranging such a wonderful conference on AI, integration of AI in curricula, especially the title of the panel, AI integration in STEM curricula, strategies and implications. From the previous speakers, Mr. Aravind Subramanian, representative of the startup Tamil Nadu, when he was talking, is insisted the importance of technology business incubators in the institutions and campus. And when Madam Indra Madam was talking, is mentioned about introduce herself as the OBA person, and the whole country is talking about OBE and how the outcomes of the OBE can be achieved. It's still a question mark. And the technological incubation center, the importance of technological incubation center in education institutions is need of the hour, and how this all can be achieved. And overall, I can say that we are very particular or well versed in the traditional educational ecosystem, and the integrating AI is highly important because we need to migrate from the traditional educational ecosystem to innovation ecosystem. So in order to make innovation, and the campus must be prepared and ready to come out with a lot of innovations. And being an innovation, dean innovation, it's my responsibility and evangelizing the importance of the innovation coming out from the educational institutions. Technological advancement, we cannot, it's inevitable. Industrialization will not happen without the technology and the innovation. And the population of our country, 140 crores of people, and India, we have the market. And the trend is the countries are looking India as a business hub. But we are talking about the various components. But let me come down very, very down to earth by saying that even if you buy a floor mat, are we sufficient to manufacture the enough number of floor mats for the people? The question mark. So then the next question is where our MSMEs and so on. So it is a responsibility of the educational institution in India to adopt artificial intelligence, not the time to debate whether it is replacing human or any threats are there, because we have the potential of moving fast, and the expectation is not the linear growth, and we are marching towards the exponential growth. So in order to move to the exponential growth, it is our responsibility to come up with a strategical change, and migrating from the traditional educational ecosystem to innovation ecosystem is inevitable. It's my opening remark. And the project based learning and the social implication and interdisciplinary collaborations and working, identifying the problems from the local, from the villages, from the society must be triggered at the education institutions, and the curriculum must be redesigned in such a way to meet the need of the country. So we have 140 crores people, and it means that we have 280 crores hands, and it is our responsibility of utilizing the 280 crores and the power of youth to make India as a superpower country. And it's the right time because the government of India and government of Tamil Nadu is coming with a lot of strategy for promoting startups and entrepreneurship. And we have exclusive model. Maybe the next round I will talk about this exclusive model which we have developed for the nation building. And the integration of AI with the STEM is need of the hour. And I request all the educational institutions. Here we have the representatives from various education institutions, and we have the representatives from the policy maker side. And it is my humble request. There must be a reformation in the curriculum, and it must be AI-driven curriculum, and that should bring some kind of the exponential growth which highly required for making our nation as a superpower. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to take the consent of the panelists before we go ahead. So I'd like to request our forthcoming panelists to keep the responses short, since we need to also cover the validatory session as well. And most importantly, we have the second round, which is in continuation to the opening remarks based on the individual work principles. So I request our further panelists to keep it as much as short as possible, so we can cover it as soon as possible. Thank you so much. I request Mr. Vivek Shankar Narayan to please present his opening remarks.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you're able to hear me clearly. Yeah, thank you, Shreyas, for having me here at this forum. It's been great to hear from different aspects of people, both from the policy side as well as from the industry side over here and from academia. Now, like this panel has clearly said, that there is no doubt on the effect AI and ML has had on the way we work. Right? The very fact that all of us have decided to spend a Saturday evening here shows how much we are taking it seriously. And it's also true that after the GPT models came, every single startup that I was aware was trying to incorporate some variation of AI in their core business solutions. Now, it's true, the demand exists for this kind of work. It's true that we are trying to find people. And it's also there that we are not able to find the talent both at a foundation layer and at an application layer. Now, at Impactry, our experience has been in utilizing different types of AI models, both for social impact measurement or for sustainability. And our experience has been that while language models are robust, whether you get them from India or from abroad, doesn't make a difference. And there is no shortage of computational power. What is key is in how the databases are and how is it that we're able to avoid biases. And that's something which I thought we need to highlight. Probably because while our conventional education system is great at training people on things, there are the softer parts of it which we do not take into aspect. Right? So one of the key challenges where I see lying in training databases is in bias for AI applications. Now, frankly, because of the amount of data we consume, like what Dr. Rennie Robbins said, we have 140 crore people. So clearly data is not a shortage which is going to be there for us. However, the problem is that our models or our databases still aren't good enough for us to separate correlation from causation. We know things are correlated and our AI will always put them across and tell us it's true, but we can't really know whether they are related to each other or not. Now, conventional training, which we have taken from Silicon Valley, is able to give us, but it also leads to a level of negative errors which are over there. Now, in India, a country with significant variations in demographics and in geography, what we feel is that something which needs to be incorporated, specifically whether it's at the STEM or at the non-STEM level, is something called the first principles approach, in addition to basic statistics. This is something which we see is strictly shocking right now in India, which is not there. This is something which we feel every single STEM graduate needs to be well aware of. Now, in fact, when we are working on data management, we take incorporations of ideas from across the spectrum. It doesn't have to be STEM. There are extremely large non-STEM relevant areas where we take in. So, for example, household workers, ASHA workers, field units, block level officers, all of them are incorporated in the database process itself, simply because we want to reduce the amount of bias that comes into the ecosystem where the AI models are trained. That's the reason why we feel we can quantify social impact indicators across Southeast Asia, because there are unique socioeconomic indicators. Now, it's this industry collaboration that I want to focus on. Giving access to our students will enable them to gain these practical AI skills and then implement them across varied sectors like healthcare, education, environmental sciences, ESG. Doesn't make a difference. Now, our strength, and that again, consequently, the challenge for us will be to train databases which are unique to our culture, taking into account our size, complexity, and the entropy that exists in India. Now, this approach will able to create truly indic matrices which are reflective of our society and therefore enable us to increase these outcomes. So whatever was said from a policy management view or from academia or from industry, I think what we've all realized is that we need to create databases which reduce these biases which are there. And the only way that can happen is by integrating this itself into the curriculum which is there across our educational institutions today, be it STEM or non-STEM. I think that's the point that I wanted to highlight.
Thank you, sir. We shall have now Honorable English John Copio to present his opening remarks. Okay, I think we can move on to Ms. Ritika Saraswat and then come back to, okay, we have John Copio here. Mr. John Copio, we request you to please present your opening remarks. Thank you.
Oh, good evening, team. Thank you for this wonderful session. We've heard from the insiders, and here we are looking at the technology and how we can be able to harness that technology and improve on how we engage, we collaborate, and ensure that we have everything in place. So we know the synergy between AI and STEM education is to prepare the future of innovators to a world driven by artificial intelligence. So by doing so, we are able to make difference and contribution to global sustainable development goals. That is towards quality education, economic growth, industry, and innovation for goals. So therefore, we as a team, we need to see how we can be able to brace ourselves for this future global run by technology and AI. So the intersection of artificial intelligence, AI, and science, technology, engineering, and mathematics is rapidly evolving, and evolving landscape that holds immense potential for the future of innovation. So as we sit here today, we continue to advance the permeate various aspects of our lives. It is becoming increasingly important for students to develop a stronger foundation in STEM subjects. And that is what we need to see. How can we ensure through AI, we instill that particular engagement with students so that they can be able to take and develop a strong foundation on STEM subjects that will not only enable them to understand and harness the power of AI, but also equip them with the necessary skills to become innovators and leaders in the AI-driven world, because that is where the world is going to. So the synergy between AI and STEM education is evident in the numerous ways, and AI is being integrated into the learning processes. And AI-powered tools and platforms are revolutionizing the way students learn and engage with STEM subjects. And through that, we'll be able to see AI in education will be able to look into automated grades. We look into intelligence tutorials, smart content creators, virtual assistants, language processing, when we'll be dealing with the students who are challenged, somehow visually impaired. So how can we incorporate the technology in order we bring such people on board so that they can be at par with the rest? So the tools can provide personalized learning experience and adapt individual learning styles and offer real-time feedback, making the learning process efficient and engaging. Moreover, AI, it will help educators identify gaps in students' understanding and tailor their teaching strategies accordingly, and ensuring that no student is left behind. And I think that is the main core of this particular conference on how we can be able to harness this and ensure we deliver. So in addition to enhancing the experience, AI is also, we are looking at how, because it is also playing a crucial role in inspiring students to pursue STEM careers. Because the moment we inspire our students to take STEM careers, this is where we'll come up with the innovators, the programmers, because now the world we are living in, as computer scientists, we used to tell computers what to do for us. And now it has come a point whereby now we need to tell a computer to think like us. The computer can interpret for me a language. The computer, I can create a system which will enable me and even predict the climate change in the next 10, 15 years to come. So that is where we as young people, we are headed to. So AI-driven technologies such as robotics, machines learning, and data analytics are becoming increasingly popular in various industries, creating a growing demand for professionals with expertise. And in addition to incorporating AI into the classroom, it is also important for educators to emphasize the ethical implications of AI and its potential impact on society. As AI becomes more pervasive, it is crucial for students to understand the importance of responsible AI development and deployment. So the intersection of AI and STEM education is promising frontier that holds the key to unlocking the full potentials of AI and shaping the future of innovation. By embracing the synergy between these two domains, educators can prepare students for the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead in the AI-driven world. This is in turn can help create a generation of innovators who are not only well-versed in AI and STEM subjects, but also equipped with critical thinking, problem solving, and ethical decision-making needed to drive the progress and create a better future for all.
Thank you, Mr. John. Now I'd request Ms. Ritika Saraswat to present her opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm just going to try and keep it pretty short and sweet. I think I've discovered a lot of incredible things. I think the main part from our side, I think from our experiences we've had in the past 1.5 years, working with around 30,000 people across, is that I think the biggest asset that AI provides to us individuals, especially the youth today, is creating accessibility to education and really bridging the knowledge divide that exists across the globe today. Today, we can do things we were never able to do before. Today, a child Ghana, for example, who may not have other resources available outside of them, can get access to education being given in higher education institutions here in Canada, something that we're doing today. And how is that possible? It's all possible because of AI and technology from a very broader lens, because once you install Wi-Fi, once you install projectors and screens there, they can get access to people sitting right here, right? Now, today, even we are talking to people right across the globe. And I think a lot of this would not have been possible if it wasn't for these technological advancements, especially with AI coming into the picture. So I think really being appreciative and grateful of what AI is bringing to the market and how it's actually urging us to transform our curriculum, which has been very traditional for the longest time. And I think it's urging us to really start redefining what we call education today, because I think it needs to go beyond our focus on grades in academia to actually focus on learning today. We see high levels of unemployment for students today than ever before. Why? Why do we see that? Because the world is changing, but our education doesn't seem to be keeping up with the changes happening in the world around us. It's still very traditionally mindset. You still have students filling out their examinations on a piece of paper or maybe on a screen, still testing them on those kind of traditional aspects and criteria. Regarding students who get higher grades as being successful versus who don't, getting unsuccessful. And I think that's just playing out today, because even from a Canadian perspective, if you see students from places like India, East Africa, East Asia as well, who are coming here, you see these students are having a hard time to cope with students from North America. And a biggest reason being not because they're not smart. They're incredibly smart and geniuses, but it's because the skill sets and the kind of education curriculum we are creating access to for these individuals is not enabling them to keep up with the changes happening around us, especially in relation to technology. So I think the biggest thing for us here is today, to start creating awareness and education around AI and technology today by giving students exposure earlier on in their lives to AI, how to work with it, what are its benefits, what are its limitations, right? So that they can learn to collaborate and co-create with it rather than alienate themselves from it and become fearful of it. So I hope we can actually further some of these conversations, but obviously keep in mind, how can we leverage it as a resource to move forward, because AI cannot exist without us, but we can still exist without it. So it's all about how do we come together to become a lot stronger than we are today. Yeah, I'll pass it on to the next person.
Thank you, Ritika. So I think now we shall be moving on quickly to the second round based on the best practices and the specialization of all our panelists over here. We shall be posing the questions over here forward. And just one request to all our panelists to keep it short over here so that we can cover it. Maybe you can keep your responses for 3 to 4 minutes each, and that we can bring in a way of connecting it together. So I'll start off with Dr. Sushil sir. Sir, how can the integration of artificial intelligence into neurocognition improvement methods contribute to enhancing STEM education while also ensuring the preservation of the traditional approaches?
Firstly, let me appreciate Shreyas because your last speaker, she was short and crisp. Let me really appreciate her. And because that's the major challenge we are trying to do, that in case if we learn that what are the learning outcomes for the education which are expected from the education. So if we are clear about that, AI can be a wonderful tool which we can utilize it positively. But it is equally, again, I'll say that there are both sides of coins. In case if we are not using it effectively, then lots of our abilities, as you said in neurocognitive terms, we have thinking abilities, we have memorizing, we have decision making, we have planning. These are all cognitive factors. But God has given in such a way, until unless these are challenged, we start losing them. So we should use AI in such an effective manner that because of AI, we are able to challenge our brain or our cognitive abilities in such a way so that we can become not smarter, rather smarter. But in case if we start losing our abilities, I'll give the example related to them, then I'll stop it here because I know the short of time and all. Specifically, suppose if I give you the example related to Google Map location. Earlier, if I'm going to Shreya's house, I'm trying to remember that after 3 kilometers, I had taken left-hand turn. After that, there was a yellow building. Then there I had taken a right-hand turn. Firstly, I used to register. I'm trying to tell as per cognition. So I used to register all these things in my brain. After that, I used to process and then recall once I'm going second time. Okay, once I have traveled 300 meters, that means I have to take a right turn. So these processes, because of Google Map locations, it is helping us. But we are not challenging our brain. So we have to be smart enough where to use and how to use smartly. That's what, here I'm stopping it. There are lots of stimulation because I was quite excited, especially by the 3 speakers. My last speaker and the person who was from Ministry of Education, Dr. Pachauri, and especially from IIM, other than international. There are a few international who also spoke well. So, but because of time of shortage of time, I'm stopping it here. But wonderful organization. Thank you, Shreya.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. This is to Ms. Linika Roden. So in this age, as you know, we're constantly seeing climate change and sustainability being a major factor. There are different ideas and barometers that have also been, brought about. So in this way, how do you think digital transformation has led to the understanding of the crisis and also the counter of the same? So maybe you can also, elaborate about the pros and the cons as well.
Okay, thank you so much for that question. So I'll first start off by saying artificial intelligence has significantly amplified our capabilities in terms of what we can do, especially in the space of climate change. Artificial intelligence has been able to assist us in generating models, and these are predictive models to tell us how our environment is changing. So for example, it is because of artificial intelligence why most scientists are now aware of the fact that there are some islands, specifically in the Caribbean and in the Pacific, that will be underwater in less than 20 years, right? And what artificial intelligence has been able to do for us in the field is, just to go a step further, it has also been able to tell some of our decision makers, steps that they can do, strategies that they can implement to fix whatever existing problem there is. And so gone are days when we would have had to have conferences and do major research to kind of gather the information that we need to solve different problems. But artificial intelligence is once again amplifying our abilities and our capabilities to solve problems. And so in terms of the pros, I think it's critical that we are able to see these models, these different projections, because then we're able to plan for the future. In terms of a con, well, I can't think of a con right now because I really am one of the main supporters of artificial intelligence and infusing technology in our decision making. It is just as regards to the precision of the model and the accuracy, that is where the downfall lies, and also the relationships. I think one of the panelists would have mentioned it, that it's a downfall in all sectors, not only STEM, but non-STEM areas as well, in terms of the accuracy of AI models. And so, how can we trust, what the AI is telling us? Because it's able to do simple tasks, but it's still not able to prescribe and identify key relationships. It still needs a little assistance in that regard. So as it continues to advance, I am excited about what it can do for us in terms of helping us to solve the different issues that exist. And we are looking forward to collaborating more with the technology.
Thank you. Dr. C.R. Rennie Robinson, I hope you're here. Yes. So this question is for you. How does the STEM curricula integrate the latest technologies like artificial intelligence, what we have been discussing about, to empower students to apply technical expertise to tackle social challenges and contribute to the sustainable development goals as well, while promoting inclusivity and social equity? I believe at an institution where you come from, the ecosystem, I have personally participated while engaging with the students in terms of different levels you have been creating as well, and what you have been creating a kind of a diverse matrix in terms of building entrepreneurs from the institution. So I'd like to hear a little bit from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Shreyas. And from your question, I will take one word, that is inclusivity. And inclusivity means students, faculty members, society, village, and all the stakeholders. Can you allow me to share my screen?
Yes, sir, you can share the screen.
I just want to share. Hope my screen is shared. Am I right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, this is what the best practice which I am going to share with you, all the participants. Here we have the educators and the policymakers. And what the institution which I am working, Sairam Institutions in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India, we have come up with a competition-based learning model. We are very versed in project-based learning model, activity-based learning model. So the next step on top of it, we have introduced a competition-based learning model. I can say that it's a one-stop solution for all our problems most of the education institution is facing, and especially how the to fulfillment, the requirement for which the technological and the engineering technology institution has been formed in India. So it's a one-stop solution to achieve all the outcome-based education, the expectation of the outcome-based education. And I see the competition. Now, when we look at the statutory bodies websites, we could see various competition hackathon. So this can be encouraged. Say, for example, the Sustainable Development Goals has been given by United Nations and to make to achieve before 2030, and how this can be achieved, where we can gather a mass implementer. So it is a research, small research which we have made, and we have come up with a model to support sustainable development goals from the education institutions. So this is highly, and we have developed a model with AI integrated model for bringing all the inclusivity. I mentioned faculty members, the competency of the faculty members is mapped with the interest of the students, and these are mapped with the 169 targets given by United Nations and 17 goals given by United Nations. So we have introduced this model, and the first year before competition, so we have just crushing and putting whole engineering and technology education into for competition, and students are encouraged to prepare for the competition throughout during the journey of study. And while they do, because this engineering program is in 4-year program, and during this program, students are encouraged to develop a sustainable product which could be immediately commercialized or go to the market product during their study. And it is the hidden agenda is one student, one startup. You just think about if all the students are coming out with a startup, then all our needs will be fulfilled. So these are all the big vision and dreams that we have just implemented in 2021 batch, and now the first batch is coming to final year. And the first year, the entire first year is allowed students to think about the idea generation. It is not optional; it is compulsory for all the students. Will give enough number of immersion program. In inclusivity means the inclusion of villages, and students will be allowed to go to villages, and they go to village and explore all the necessity, and similarly the exposure from the industry, exposure from the society. Based on their experience, they will come up with a problem, and the competition will happen. The name of the competition is Sairam SDG Ideathon. So how big their idea and how relevant to their idea is relevant to the sustainable development goals. The student will come up with the same idea to the second year. When they come to second year, the competition name is Sairam SDG Solvathon, where we are teaching design thinking, technological training on which the technology falls, and the accelerator programs. At the end of the second year, they will come up with a business model. So the awareness and the essence of a business model canvas is injected in the second year. And when they come to third year, the competition name is Sairam SDG Innovathon, where they do their prototype in the third year. They will allow to showcase their ideas into different competitions, and training and business model and business pitching will be given, and their technology readiness level will be assessed in the third year. When they come to final year, the name of the competition is Sairam SDG Inspirathon. Inspirathon, how the students are inspiring through their product, their publication, paper publication, patent publication, setting up of startups. And as I said, one student, one startup is our campaign. We are encouraging students, not allowing them to go to their dream job or higher studies. During their 4 years of study in the campus, they are supposed to develop a product, sustainable product that will be incubated in the technology business, technology incubator, TBI, as mentioned, one of the speaker, Mr. Aravind Subramanian from Startup Tamil Nadu. So if every institution is having an ecosystem, this kind of ecosystem, and we can, so at outcome of this initiative, I can say that we are preserving right now around 5,000 ideas, and we are providing mentorship, and we need the hands of, and supports from the NGOs, we need the support from the mentors, we need the support from the innovation evangelist and the enthusiast, startup enthusiast is evangelist. So we want to support, and it is my obligation to the listener is, if this model being implemented in all the institutions, definitely India will become a superpower, and this model can be implemented or copied at anywhere, because a very highly flexible model, and it is indirectly it is contributing to the NEP 2020 for the holistic development of the school. This is what I am doing. I just put it in crushed and put it in a nutshell. I given to you because of this time constraint, and I hope definitely I will get a session to elaborate what really we are doing and what outcomes we are getting out of this Sairam innovation ecosystem. Thank you, Shreyas, for the time and patience for listening my talk.
Thank you, sir. This is to Mr. Vivek Shankar Narayanan. Sir, and we shall be talking in this question, I believe, on ESG, more about environment, social, and governance. And as I believe, when we met sometime recently, people do understand environment as a whole when we talk about ESG, and they just think that it is something only sustainability centric. But then the factor about social and governance is somewhere missed out. And based on that, we have co-created this question. What are the potential ways to integrate ESG into STEM education to address the pressing issues of 21st century and promote sustainability?
Yeah, thank you, Shreyas. So when we really met, I think the question point that I wanted to put across was, when we think of ESG, or conventionally when we think of ESG, we automatically assume E has everything to do with it. And there's nothing wrong. We keep thinking of climate change, the carbon footprint, and so on and so forth. But we fail to realize that S and G are equally, if not more important factors over here. In fact, I would go so far to say that unless you get your S and G in place, your E is also up for a toss. Right, because and this we have seen in numerous practices. You've heard of greenwashing, health washing, all the issues which are there over there. Now, what we have therefore to realize is that even in STEM education, there are a lot of these startups who are being incubated. And for example, Dr. Rennie Robbins said, and that's what most progressive incubators are thinking today, is how do we incorporate startups coming in at an early stage itself to think about sustainability and ESG itself. So the way we look at it is that, hey, if AI is giving you the tool to execute, ESG is going to be that framework around which a sustainable organization is going to develop. Now, what does this mean in reality? Is that when we talk of ESG, we mean that startups coming up or students coming up should understand of how to run a robust business model, create sustainable business practices. They should be able to assess and hedge risks in their businesses, which is extremely key if they have to scale, and managing diverse teams. Now, if you go through the UN SDG goals, among the 179 goals, among 179 indicators, all of these points are existing over there. So the way we think of it is ESG, and the way in which these tools are taught at individual levels at STEM curriculum will itself define the bedrock of how any organization is going to operate. Now, the way we have to teach this is bring in individual courses in irrespective of curriculum. So we shouldn't think of AI and ESG as something which only computer science graduates would do, but it is generally true and applicable for all graduates. It's also applicable for graduates across STEM and non-STEM also, because they are the ones who have to finally understand how to integrate these tools and therefore build sustainable enterprises.
Thank you, sir. Honorable English John Copio, I'm posing this question to you. What is the role of integrated science and technology in promoting the livelihood of the youth? And since you come from Kenya, and you can talk about the perspective of the youth in Africa and how science and technology is seen as a greater merger together, since you have already been involved in working with them at different capacities.
Thank you, Shreyas. Role of integrated science and technology in promoting the livelihood of the youth. So, as we know, science and technology hold the key to the progress and development of any nation. And technology plays a fundamental role in wealth creation, improvement of the quality of life, and real economic growth and transformation in any society. And bringing that into Kenyan perspective, we have a challenge when it comes, and it is a global thing that we have unemployment, especially for the young people. And in Kenya, it is a great challenge for youth unemployment, because you'll find they graduate each and every year. We have like about 1 million students graduating from universities and tertiary colleges. And at the end of the day, they cannot be able to find somewhere where they can be able to work. So it is creating that the market is full and there are no employment. And on this, the work I've been doing is how we can be able to integrate technology in terms of creating youth employment. How can an individual can stand independently with the skills which you have acquired from the university? How can you be able, that skill, how can it be able to help you create self-employment? And through this, we find technology plays a great role in all sectors of the economy. And starting with maybe when you're looking at the agriculture, you're looking at the digital transformation. When you're looking at the e-commerce, you're looking at the e-governance. So the role of technology, what we are trying to do is how can we nurture and create youth empowerment through coming up with technology hubs, whereby these youths can be taken into these particular areas, so that we can nurture their skills, then subject them outside there to the world, so that they can stand on their own. And with the technology, what we do, in government, we do a lot of work, and everything. There is this automation of government services. So we embrace, or we talk about, we give technology key priority when addressing youths on how they can come up with solutions, the real-time solutions which can be taken to the market and can change the world, whether it is in agriculture, whether it is in e-commerce, whether it is in telemedicine. What skills can we embed on this particular young people through technology? Because the technology is only the avenue which we can be able to use, and which help us to define our capabilities and skills and ensure that we are innovative. Because you only become innovative after realizing a problem in your environment, and how do you come up with this solution. So the technology plays a key role on how this particular, they can analyze the environment in which they're operating on, the environment where they don't have jobs, the environment where they cannot be able to sustain their livelihood. So how to that? How do we embed technology so that it can be able to help us bring the inner side of us, so that we can be skillful, we can be innovators, and whatever skills, the mobile applications that we develop, the telemedicine systems that we develop, is it at par with the current situation that we are in, or whatever we want to solve? So we use the technology to improve a human condition and natural environment, or to carry out other socio-economic activities. One of them being job creation. So in this question, what as a Kenyan government, or entirely the world, or the Africa, or the East Africa, we try to see how can we be able to engage youths on the basis of how we can partner with various stakeholders, so that we can train them, we can coach them, we can induct them, so that they can be able to understand the dynamic worlds and come up with the solutions which can easily be helpful to the current situation that we have as a country or as a continent. And at the same time, when you have become more innovative, it will provide a source of income to you as an individual. So we try to because technology, as we look at it, it is the only way we can be able to use to improve the livelihood of all these young people and to ensure that we get the best out of them as a nation.
Thank you. I'd like to pose this question to Ms. Ritika Saraswat. So Ritika, can you, I believe you're being directly engaging on students, and I think all the digital transformation starts off with the platforms where we connect with them. And most importantly, if you can, kind of elaborate on the perspective of STEM education or, education as overall, how does it, globally work in Canada, the United States and different countries? Maybe we could cover and understand a little bit more and can be more informative to our audiences as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that's a great question. I feel like this kind of ties into the opening remarks where I was mentioning the importance of redefining and redesigning education today, because I think that's kind of the need of the hour. We can definitely point ourselves to students and tell them that, hey, y'all keep an open mind, y'all get the exposure, but I think as institutions and as kind of change makers in this space, I think it's time that we take accountability to create more awareness and education around the need of the hour, which is really helping not just redesign education out there, but creating more accessibility in terms of opportunities in this space and creating more visibility for youngsters who are impacted most by these changes to actually be a part of these discussions and be able to share how exactly that change can be made. Often whenever the discussion comes up, I think like a few ways or action items for us to actually go beyond this is because I think the key at the end of the day is we can discuss all we want, right? But we want to action on these discussions. And I think a few actionable items that we can, I think, even take away from this, at least I believe, is 4 things, very honestly. Is like, one is, I think, just doing that redefinition part of education today and kind of moving beyond the traditionality of education. I think that's the biggest thing even I learned when I moved to North America is I was like, okay, people back home, whether it be India, East Africa, East Asia, they're incredibly smart and knowledgeable. But why is it that when they come abroad, you aren't seeing them occupying the highest positions in companies, right? It's changing now, but it's still not as much as it should be. You're not seeing them getting promoted as fast as others. You're not seeing them getting paid as much as others. A manager in India, when they come to Canada, they start working as a business analyst, which is an entry-level role, putting them 3 to 5 years behind in their career, right? But people are still coming irrespective of all of that. Why does all of this exist? It just comes down at the end of the day that our education that is being provided to our students or the future of our countries is limited, whereby it is only furthering people who are learners in certain ways. It's not personalizing the education to their learning needs, to their learning capacities, things that appeal to them. Someone who is a visual learner will not do well on academic tests where you write things down, right? And they're going to be considered not so smart in school, right? Even my teacher told me, Ritika, you're not going to go anywhere in life because you cannot do well on a math exam, right? But does that actually dictate success in the future? Not really. Today you have AI. AI can do the math for you. AI can build the graphs for you. So does that education still apply today when you have softwares and technologies to do that base work for you? So I think it's kind of urging us to start looking beyond just grades, academia and curriculums, but instead looking at more of the experiential side of things. How can we make our students ready for the real world today? And the reality of the real world today is that AI is a part of it, or technology overall is a part of it. So how do we leverage that to create that accessibility and also maybe transgress a lot of those barriers that exist today in accessing education in the first place? I think second and the biggest one is creating accountability amongst our education institutions and other organizations, even change makers individually, or even other non-for-profits, to kind of take responsibility over pioneering the pathway to actually start with this redefinition and redesigning. And a lot of this can start only when we start bringing to light the consequences that going ahead with the traditional education system will have on our future students and youth. From a Canadian and a US perspective specifically, when you look at international students, right, who are coming from all these countries, you are seeing them face so many challenges, whether it be mental health challenges, suicide rates increasing by 5% every single month. You wouldn't expect that to happen. A lot of people back home think, oh wow, students traveling abroad are enjoying their lives. But in reality, you're seeing them become culprits to a lot of these challenges because there is lack of support to these students from their own governments and organizations back home in the foreign land. Because we don't have any specific mentorship programs, we don't have any specific upliftment programs, award functions, etc., to provide visibility to our own people, leading us to be there in the background while some other people take the front seat. So I think creating that accountability to not only impact our communities back home in their own countries, but also our own communities that are in other countries abroad where they don't have as much of the support at all because they don't have anyone to lean on, right? So I think two is that. Third, I would say, is really like creating that visibility and making younger people a part of the conversation. I think this has happened for the longest time because whenever we talk about any topic, let's say women's issue or anything, oftentimes you see sometimes women are not even made a part of that conversation that is being made for them in the first place, right? We talk about redefining education, but how many people amongst us is actually youngsters, right, who are being faced with those educational challenges, making them a part of the conversation so that they can bring that youngster mindset and actually enable amazing leaders like yourself to get that direct insight, right, and not have any gap or barrier in that misinformation being provided. So I think that would be, and the last one I think is just kind of leveraging AI and technology to create accessibility. I think everyone deserves to get access to education. So I feel like I understand we need to shift our focus to AI and technology, but before furthering education for those who have already been privileged enough to get access to it, if we can maybe focus our intention on first creating accessibility to those who don't have it in the first place, and then focus on that furthering, I think that will also be a great way to move forward so that we're all moving forward together instead of letting those few communities seek through those cracks that exist in our society today. So I would say that be the overall picture.
Thank you, Ritika, for being quite precise as always. And today's panel, I'm not going to much elaborate on what is the contextual part and the expertise of it, what all of us have shared over here. But then, as usual, we keep on having these conferences. The idea behind having this panel discussion and bringing in a diverse, integrated senior professionals over here, most of you associated with organizations and institutions, most of you heading not-for-profits and organizations, is ideally to understand the work principles and what you've been doing. And I'm very much sure that we have today noticed new models. We have got a lot of information today. We did not just see that we had people only from the audiences being students or someone related to science, technology, innovation. Even participants over here have also, I believe, harnessed over their learning and understanding something new. And I think it's all about learning, and evolving is all about STEM. Technologies are there always. I believe it is always there since the beginning, right? And I think the way it is being brought about and the way it is being put into, I mean, the footfall of it really matters at the end of the day. And the most important thing is these type of discussions should be much continued the stakeholders, and we at Bodhan Foundation are going to assure our panelists this is not just something we have looked at a one-time event, but then we'll be having more of this. And we look forward to all of you participating over here, all our panelists in the upcoming sessions, in informal stakeholder discussions, and taking this forward. And as we move ahead, we request all our panelists to still stay back, though we were supposed to conclude 30 minutes prior for the event. We were supposed to end this conference. We would be having a valedictory session, and we are having a valedictory guest, Honorable Her Excellency Dr. Monique Lynch and Mr. Brajesh Basar, the CEO of IAC, staying back to listen to all the panelists over here. And I must say, they had just dropped me a remark that, it was wonderful listening to all of you. So I request Akshay to please proceed with the valedictory session. Thank you. Akshay, you need to unmute yourself. Yeah. Yes, yes. Yeah, yes. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Shreyas, and all the panelists for actually having such an informative session. Now, moving forward, here, without any further delay, I would like to invite Her Excellency Honorable Dr. Monique Lynch, President of Jamaica and African Union, Global Affairs Advisor, Federal of World Culture and Art Society, Singapore. Over to you, Mike.
Before we just go ahead to Her Excellency Dr. Monique Lynch, to all our audiences over here, she is the President of Jamaica at the African Union, and also she is a senior diplomat from the African Union, has been leading several committees as well. So we were just having a short conversation on Instagram prior to, I believe, starting this event. And thank you, Her Excellency, for your support and being here at the conference. We look forward to hearing your valedictory Chief Guest address. Over to you. Her Excellency, we request you to please unmute yourself. I believe your mic is being muted.
Okay, thank you for that introduction. It is my pleasure being here, observing all protocols. Good morning from Jamaica. It is a great pleasure that I discuss this innovative and transformative topic from a mental health perspective. Now, as we navigate the rapidly evolving landscape of education and mental health care, it has become abundantly clear that AI can play a pivotal role in enhancing our understanding of mental health and mental well-being. Now, mental health literacy, the knowledge and awareness of mental health conditions or mental disorders, is the key to fostering a supportive and inclusive society. By equipping individuals with the necessary tools to identify, understand, and support those experiencing mental health challenges or mental disorders, we empower ourselves to break down the barriers that often shroud mental disorders. However, our ability to effectively educate on mental health and mental disorders requires new approaches, and this is where AI steps in. Now, AI integration into the mental health literacy curriculum.
Dr. Monique Lynch, you are being muted. We request you to please mute yourself.
Okay, are you hearing me?
Yes, yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so AI integration into mental health literacy curriculum bears immense significance because it brings together the best of two worlds: human empathy and understanding and the power of technology. Now, AI-enabled tools can provide personalized and accessible resources, making mental health education more engaging, interactive for learners. Now, mental health, as you know, it's a public health concern, and by analyzing vast amounts of data, AI can identify patterns and trends in mental health and disorders, allowing us to better target our educational efforts and develop effective interventions. Now, there are numerous benefits to using AI in any mental health literacy curriculum, and here are a few. Number one, personalized learning. Now, AI can analyze individual progress and tailor learning experiences to match specific needs, pace, and learning styles. Now, this personalized approach ensures that learners receive the most effective and efficient mental health education, maximizing their understanding and retention of important concepts. Number two, accessible and inclusive. Now, AI-powered tools enable greater accessibility to mental health education by breaking down geographical barriers and providing resources in various formats, such as chatbots, apps, and online platforms. It promotes inclusivity, allowing anyone with an internet connection to access and benefit from mental health literacy training, regardless of their location or background. Number three, enhanced engagement and interactivity. Now, all AI tools can create engaging, interactive, and immersive learning experiences. For example, A virtual simulation or role-playing scenarios can help learners understand how to respond to individuals with mental health challenges or mental disorders compassionately, enhancing their empathy and understanding. Now, this interactive approach is particularly effective in holding learners' attention and fostering long-term knowledge retention. Now, 4, around-the-clock support. AI chatbots can provide immediate and non-judgmental support to individuals in need 24/7. They can offer useful information, resources, suggestion, or simply provide a listening ear. This around-the-clock availability ensures that individuals can seek help and guidance anytime they need, alleviating feelings of isolation and enhancing mental well-being. Number 5, and this is probably the most important benefit, is early intervention and preventive measures. Now, AI can identify patterns and early warning signs of mental health issues or mental disorders by analyzing large data sets such as social media activity, behavioral patterns, or symptom reports. Now, this early detection allows for timely intervention, helping individuals access the support they require before their mental health worsens. Now that there are some of the examples of AI in mental health literacy curriculum, and these include, number 1, virtual assistants. Now, these interactive conversational agents can simulate human interaction and provide individuals with the emotional support, psychoeducation, or resources that they need. Number 2, AI-powered educational content. Now, AI can analyze vast amounts of data to generate tailored educational content that meets learners' specific needs and preferences. For example, it can provide adaptive learning modules, quizzes, or multimedia resources based on personal progress and knowledge gaps of the learner. Number 4, virtual reality simulations. Now, these immersive technologies can recreate scenarios that allow users to experience and understand mental health challenges and mental disorders from a first-person perspective, fostering empathy and providing practical skills for support. Number 4, and that's the final example, is the data analytics and predictive models. Now, AI algorithms can analyze vast amounts of mental health and mental disorder data to identify trends and risk factors associated with specific populations, helping educators to design targeted intervention and preventive measures. Now, these examples only scratch the surface of the potential AI holds for transforming mental health literacy curriculum and the mental health sector as a whole. By leveraging AI's capabilities, we can revolutionize the way we educate and support individuals by improving their mental health outcomes and fostering a more compassionate and informed society. And we know that when people are informed, they can make more evidence-based decisions. Now, as we embrace the integration of AI into mental health, it is essential to acknowledge the ethical concerns surrounding this technology. Privacy, security, and the potential of algorithmic biases must be addressed, ensuring that individuals' confidential information remains protected and that the AI tools operate with utmost fairness and inclusivity. Now, in conclusion, the integration of AI into mental health signifies a paradigm shift in education and mental health care. By leveraging the power of AI tools, we extend our reach, we extend our impact, ensuring that every learner has access to the knowledge, resources, and the support they need to thrive. Let us seize this opportunity and embark on a journey to transform mental health education, making a tangible difference in the lives of individuals, families, and communities around the globe. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Honorable Dr. Monique Lynch. It was wonderful to cover about the prospects of AI and mental health. And I think that is one of its important topics as well, not just seen back during the pandemic situation as well, but then I think further to prepare ourselves for more such dynamic situations, and understanding this topic is quite crucial in various social perspectives. So I'd like to go ahead in inviting our special guest, Mr. Brajesh Kumar sir, the CEO of IAC Sector Skill Council. Namaskar sir, thank you for being here at the valedictory session of the AI and STEM online conference. A quick introduction to Sir. Sir has a qualification of MBA International Business. He holds 25 years of expertise in the industry with almost 20 years in the domain of industrial automation. In his earlier assignment, he has also been actively involved with various skill development initiatives as well of the company and establishing a training business in India. So we'll be hearing more about STEM and skill development as a greater synergy from Mr. Brajesh sir. Over to you, sir. Thank you. Sir, request you to please unmute yourself. Yes.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Hello, Shreyas. Thank you for having here. Okay, I think it's pretty late, so I won't take much time. I'll try brief. Okay, it's such a wonderful feeling to be part of this conference. I represent Sector Skill Council, IAC Sector Skill Council, and it's an autonomous body under the Ministry of Skill Development and Automation. We actually represent instrumentation, industrial automation, surveillance, and communication. So our job is to promote skilling, upskilling, and lifelong learning in STEM and futuristic works. Now, AI is very powerful and disruptive tool, which is impacting every aspect of our lives. Now, from manufacturing, from the industry perspective, I can tell the AI application in an industry 4.0 manufacturing environment is reorienting the whole business operation management. And we as a skill council have very high interest in this subject. We are designing some of the training programs on AI for the youth, which will make them more industry. So that is one part for the youth. At the same time, we are also designing courses on AI for school level students. So I think one of the panelists, Rita, was talking about actionable points, So maybe something like, I would like to seek support from some of the experts who can just connect to us, so get the inputs, how we can get incorporate their inputs in the curriculum or maybe the training program we are designing for the school level. Okay. I said, so I'm feeling great to be part of this conference for two reasons. The number one is because the subject talks about need of collaborative learning to harness the power of human and AI. And the second, the subject has potential to impact the future generation both in the and professional. Now, if I look at the STEM education, for me, from my perspective, I look at the STEM education from the perspective of employability. Some of the surveys, I was going through some of the surveys that indicate that 80% of the future jobs will have element of science and skills. Now, what this highlights? This highlights the significance of STEM education when we look at how it enhances job prospects. But since everything is changing with the tool coming like AI and ML, the future of work is evolving at very fast pace due to the intervention, digitalization, and tools like AI and ML. This has become extremely essential to adapt these tools in the STEM education to enhance overall delivery of it. I think since AI is reorienting the future activities in almost every aspect of our life, future of education too is getting ready with ever-increasing application of newest technologies in designing content and various educational programs. Now integrating AI through a STEM discipline, it makes sense. This will help in connecting the learning and problem solving to the real world. Now, integrating AI will play a crucial role in inspiring students to pursue STEM careers. Now, AI-driven technologies like robotics, machine learning, data analytics, these are becoming increasingly important. And in fact, the industry, they are demanding people with such skills. So there is a demand of professionals from these fields. By exposing the students to this cutting edge technology early on, the educators can ignite their curiosity and passion for STEM. So at the same time, the AI integration to STEM education addresses some of the other stereotype concepts existing in the society. The integration of AI into STEM education can help address the existing gender diversity gaps in the STEM. And I think one of the very objectives of a STEM education is development of critical thinking, creativity, and problem solving. AI integration to STEM education will provide an excellent opportunity to a student by fostering an environment that encourages inquisitiveness, debate, and innovative. The students will be better equipped to navigate the challenges and opportunities presented by AI, both in their careers and personal lives. In fact, it was a pleasure listening to all the panelists. Now, Dr. Sushil Chandra talked about human and AI can work together. Ms. Lenika, she talked about blended learning. Like, the kind of student-teacher experience. Mr. Rene talked about he presented the 4-year models. Ms. Rivka, she talked about the actionable lines, the experiential learning, then accountability back home, then leveraging technology for education. I think many takeaways from this conference. So once again, it was pleasure listening views of eminent panelists. I think we all are of the same opinion that there is an emphasis for planning of curriculum initiatives across different educational sectors to engage the students on developing AI literacy and STEM knowledge for their success determined. I thank you, Project Bodhan, for inviting me for this conference. I feel humbled and honored. I admire Project Bodhan and delighted to see people working in this way, which are meant to have larger impact on the well-being of society as a whole. I wish Project Bodhan all the best in their endeavor to create a better tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for gracing your presence as a special guest for the valedictory. So, as we have come towards the end, I never felt that we might have probably, been an hour or two late. But then I think the amount of productive discussions we had was something which all interested us, that made us stay back. And we're so glad that our participants are here with us, and most of them have been, patiently listening and understanding something new and something they want to learn. So before we move ahead, I'd request all our participants and our speakers to switch on their cameras for a wonderful group photo. I know it's 9:23 p.m. in the evening, but then we'd love to see everyone's faces and, coming together, which is an important remark of this conference. I'd request all our participants to, quickly switch on their cameras. Thank you. Okay, so let me take the photo. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. So with this, we would like to go for a quick open forum for our interested participants if they have any questions to our panelists over here, or would like to share the experience or share anything related to this topic. So if there are any panelists, please unmute yourselves and you can go ahead. We can take quick one or two. So we have also Mr. Dilip sir over here. Dilip sir, would you like to pose any questions or share your experience being here as one of the partners of this conference?
Yeah, hi. Good evening all from India. So it was a really great, phenomenal and incredible experience which I had with these joining this conference and sharing each and everybody's it's an incredible insights given by each and every panelist here, every dignitary here who is joining across the globe. And I love to share my experience with all of because this AI ML is what the buzz in the entire system. in the entire education ecosystem, where the such kind of expertise each one of you carry, the panelists, the chief guests, the guest of honors, all these people have been come up with a lot of expertise in terms of finding out the solutions and also creating the answers for the problematic areas, giving a huge solutions for how we can able to elaborate and take this forward by creating innovative ideas, innovative ecosystems, which really bring a lot of support to the student community. End of the day, each one of us who shared here for the last 2.5 hours of time, who spent here, is giving almost a 2.5 decade of years to those student community, where they can able to elaborate, they can enhance their skill set in these kind of system, which is the parameter called AI or STEM education. Because after almost 100 years of the education system in India, it was the first subject which was introduced, which is coding. So today, a grade 1 student is also start learning coding, developing a website, developing a lot of programming languages by himself. A first grade student, where the engineer today who carries almost 19 plus years of expertise in education, in academics, and he started doing it, but today it is being changed. So the change also an inevitable, where each one of us is focusing, each one of us is bringing up in putting all the efforts, all the expertise we carry in making this huge success. So I thank all of us here who has been participating, and I thank Project Bodhan, Mr. Shreyas especially, who made us to, it's really a privileged time for me, and joining and seeing and meeting all the people across the globe. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. So quickly, let me conclude with the vote of thanks for today evening and also morning in Jamaica as well, and different countries as well. So I believe, quick words, as you know, this conference is something which has been one of its first kind of time. For the first time for Project Bodhan, we have been focusing on skill development, we have been focusing on STEM, and we have been insisting to bring in more such models. But then I think, integrating technology, science, and innovation has been one of its own kind for the first time. I see myself coming from the background as a liberal arts student and understanding the importance of STEM, in future down the line. We have SDGs today when we are trying to, bring in the importance to 2030 as an agenda. Then I think, today STEM will also have an agenda as where we need to co-create it together. And that's highly important, where we, stand out in our, different organizations in bringing this forward. And most importantly, I'd like to thank firstly all our organizers, fellow organizers, all our partners being present over here, and making this for this conference today. I'm very sure we'll be all networking together. There's a web that is connected almost, I believe now, since all of us have understood each other in terms of what we have been doing. I'm sure we all are going to network in the forthcoming days and see what is that we're going to implement. Because the most important thing is we have covered the phase of learning and understanding. Now the most important thing of reflect, which is implementing, is highly important. And how we bring that is something that will, give a next 2.0 conference in terms of understanding how this is going to progress forward. So we look forward to our stakeholders joining forward with Project Bodhan. And Bodhan Foundation is delighted to have all of you and make this as a successful conference together. So thank you so much for joining us today and being here. It was wonderful having all of you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Recording stopped. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rene, sir. Thank you, Dilip, sir. Thank you, Brajesh, sir. Thank you, Mr. John. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Dr. Monique Lynch. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.